Hi guys, my name is Amish Tripathi and I'm the director of the Nehru Centre. The Nehru Centre is the cultural wing of the Indian High Commission in the UK, and we've been in existence for many decades, and we organize wonderful events at this very auditorium. You can register for our newsletter at our website nehrucenter.org.uk. You don't need to write them down, they will be displayed at the bottom of the screen. You can also come to our Facebook page, which is a verified page, the Nehru Centre. You can follow updates on all our events on Twitter as well, the Nehru Centre, that's also a verified account. Or you can come to our YouTube channel, again, the Nehru Centre. We are nothing if not consistent. I hope you do come to our online channels and enjoy the events that we are putting up for you. Thank you so much for all your love and support. Namaste, Jai Hind.
Namaskar, and a very warm welcome to the Nehru Centre London and the High Commission of India in the UK. Welcome to the launch of a very interesting coffee table book, Dancing with the Gods, by Sohini Roychowdhury Dasgupta. It's a pleasure and honor to be part of this wonderful launch event, and I'd like to thank the Nehru Centre and the author and Sohini for inviting me to be part of this beautiful occasion. May I now request the director of the Nehru Centre London, Shri Amish Tripathi ji, to please join us as we also invite Sohini Roychowdhury onto the frame with us for the formal book launch.
Namaste Sohini ji, Namaste Sunita ji. What a pleasure it is to be hosting the two of you at this platform. We will be doing the book launch soon, but before that, if I may say, I am, of course, a worshipper of Lord Shiva, as all the readers of my books know, and I'm sure the two of you know. And Lord Shiva is the Nataraj, the Lord of Dance. Unfortunately, unlike the god I worship, I have two left feet, and I'm a terrible dancer. But I do enjoy the art of dancing and watching the masters of this art form perform, and it's so wonderful to see this book, Dancing with the Gods. Sohini ji, thank you so much for putting this book together. For those of you who haven't read it, we should be holding the book up out here. Please notice the cover, and it is available on Amazon and through various stores. So do check it out. All three of us are holding it. Fantastic. Dancing with the Gods, which has been put together by Sohini Roychowdhury ji and with the partners Munidipa ji and Sutapa ji. And this explores dancing from our traditions. Oh, sorry, we are still holding the book. Okay, let's hope we have some photographs of this now. We'll be sure to tweet it. This puts, it explores the various stories around dances from our own traditions, from Indian dharmic traditions, but also explores the relationships between Indian traditions and the traditions of the ancient pagan cultures, which have sadly died out, like of Greece, of Egypt, and a wonderful coffee table book, a wonderful way to explore our traditions. And without further ado, I'm afraid, I guess there must be some net connection problem with Sunita ji, but I'm sure she'll come back soon. But without further ado, Sohini ji, with your permission, if we may launch the book, we don't get the pleasure of ripping apart wrapping paper anymore, but there's a wonderful tech launch, a video launch of your book. If you can play that video, please.
Yes.
I guess Sunita ji should be coming back soon, and there she is. Wonderful.
So
Sunita ji,
so
no, no,
sorry that the audio I couldn't hear and I had to log back in again.
no issues, but I hope you saw the launch video. Sony ji seemed to enjoy it, and we were all clapping, and I'm sure the
Yes.
audience was as well. If I can request Sunita ji, you to just carry on with the conversation. Sony ji, thank you so much for gracing the Nehru Center with your presence. And without further ado, I'm leaving this to you with the last thing of showing the cover once again, Dancing with the Gods.
Thank you so much, Amish ji. It's an honor that you launched my book. As I said, I'm going to preen and gloat and boast about this to my grandchildren someday. And I've been inspired by your Shiva trilogies to a great extent. So thank you once again. I'm very overwhelmed and honored.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sony ji. You're too kind. Thank you.
Thank you, Amish ji, for joining us. Thank you so much. Well, congratulations, Sohini. Hearty congratulations to you. And I'm sorry had to get I logged out of the system for a little while, but we're okay now. And so once again, a hearty congratulations from all of us in India, all your fellow artists, co-musicians, for this wonderful launch of your Dancing with the Gods in London, in the UK, in the wonderful platform of Nehru Centre, London. So let me ask you before, I would like to tell the audience that this session is definitely not just a conversation, not just a chat. This will definitely have some dance, some music. And when you have a dancer like Sohini ji here with us, we have to see her in action. But before we go into that, Sohini, I would like to ask you, how did Dancing with the Gods come about? Because we know that the ethos of Dancing with the Gods is about connecting the world through dance. It's about going back to our own very culture, our own civilizations, and trying to see how art, or in fact dance in this case as a form of expression, can connect not just people and the values, but can also connect civilizations. That's what I gathered when I read. So tell us a little bit about how you conceived of this, and what is the main offering of Dancing with the Gods in context to dance, namely Bharatnatyam.
Absolutely, Sunita. First of all, may I thank you, a violin virtuoso like this, talking to me with, and I love your music. For me, you're one of my favorite musicians and composers and speakers. So I'm very grateful that you're here today. And we are synced well, so we can have this conversation. Yes, this book actually puts together our journey on stage with Bharatnatyam, with our reconstructed vocabulary of Bharatnatyam. And it was always my art with a voice. The voice is that should be connecting the worlds without discrimination, with full tolerance and empathy. Even at times when we do not understand each other fully, we should be tolerant and have empathy towards them, and vice versa. So this was my stage stories, because it also features my dancers, my students from 14 different parts of the world who have learned from me, who are Bharatnatyam performers now in their own rights, and have performed for me with me on the world stages. So that love story is about connecting civilization and connecting and bringing humanism together. So Bharatnatyam was the language that created this aura, created this world of Shoini Moksha. And this is what the book is all about.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, for those who have joined in a little late, here is the book Dancing with the Gods. And I would like to show one particular section of the book, Sohini, which, drew attention to it's like a world of Bharatnatyam dancers together.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, and hence, of course, I think the name that you have, Sohini Moksha, a world dance and communication. So this page inspired me. So tell us, how did you get all of all dancers from different countries together? Did you teach them? Did they come and join you on their own? How did that happen?
My road that I've been traveling, I started performing internationally, starting with Germany. Then we moved to Spain. And I had students, I had girls coming to my shows, and none of them had been to India before they had joined my troupe in Bharatanatyam. So there was somebody from Bulgaria, Kristina Veselinova, and she has performed with me at Prabasi Bharatiya Divas and all the top shows. There was Kika de Castro, who's also a wonderful dancer and featured as Aranyani in our book. And she is a foreign officer in Spain. She is with the service. She's a bureaucrat, and she's in Algeria now. There's Bea, who's also a wonderful dancer. There's Maria Sanz, who you've met. She's a Bharatanatyam performer now and a teacher, and she's a professional Oriental dancer. And there's Gema, who's also a Bharatanatyam dancer now. So that's our life. They connected with me, they started learning, and they got so passionate about it that they intensively trained enough to give Bharatanatyam recitals on their own, and learned enough to perform on my world stages. They've performed at the Prabasi Bharatiya Divas, at the Gram, which was hosted by the CM of Rajasthan, at the Times of India Festival concerts and the Maharashtra Police concerts. So that's our love story, which is sustained with passion, love, and very hard work.
I've seen, that you have given a fair amount of space and importance to all of these individually in your book. As I can see people from different nationalities being featured, and of course there are these stunning glimpses of people in various postures and moods of Bharatanatyam dance. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, this definitely is a book, like Amishji himself said, that it's a very, very well put together publication, and with a lot of ethos of the dance that comes out. So we've talked a lot about dance, about people coming together. I think we must show this wonderful audience of Nehru Centre London a glimpse of what you do with all these dancers across in a global stage, people from different countries coming together, the ethos of Sohini Moksha. So I'd like to request Vineetji to show us a video. What would this first video be about, Sohini? What would be the first piece be about?
It is a Sohini Moksha opera on Durga, the mother goddess, which we performed at the Prabasi Bharatiya Divas, and it's very relevant today, because today is the Durga festival happening in Calcutta and in India, and it's time for mother goddess worship and enlighten that empowered woman in all of us. So it's a part of the Durga opera.
Fantastic. Let's take a look at Sohini Moksha and her group and her teammates. Bharatanatyam.
तालनिमित्तजलाश्चरते कुपाम्बतिवरधूङ्गततालकतालकुतूहलनादरते जिं जिं जिमितित जिं जिम्मित ध्वनिधीरमृदङ्गनिनादरते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते सुरनूपुरसिञ्चितमोहितभूतपते नटित नटात नटी नटनायक नाटित नाटक नाट्यरते अदनतपालिनि बालविलोचनि पद्मविलासिनि विश्वधुरे जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते शङ्कर रक्षण सङ्गपरिस्फुरगङ्गनटकटके कनकनिशङ्ग पृषत्कनिशङ्गर सर्वणभृङ्गहटावटके
Allahiraham Mawlairaham 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 Allahiraham Mawlairaham.
That was really a spectacle. How long was the show, Sohini?
This was a total of the entire show was about 1 hour.
And I kind of observed that various religious sentiments came together, whether you call it religion or philosophy or spiritualism, but you had all kinds of chants that came together. What was your ethos around that?
It was that we are one world, you know. I had Gregorian chants and Shiva chants and Sufi chants, you know, just to say that the world is one and humanism is our greatest religion, you know. So that was what was the bonding factor. And as artists, that we are idealists. We believe in a world without frontiers and art without territory. I mean, you would relate to that completely, Sunita. So that was the binding ethos of this production.
That's something so powerful, and I would take this moment to call out to all of us artists, writers, all people in the creative pursuit, that if along with our art, along with the voice, along with the craft, we can carry a message of the world is one. I know we are a very small minority in the world compared to industrialists, compared to academicians, compared to politicians, compared to environmentalists, because I don't know how much art is in the agenda as a must-have yet across nations. But we, our own fraternity, I think every time we perform or communicate, if you can take this message across the world that it's one world, I think we may be able to add to world peace and to create one humanity. So thank you for choosing this piece, of creating one world, and of course a spectacle. And like to ask you at this moment, Sohini, your father is the legendary sitar player, late Pandit Sunita Roychowdhury, who had across Europe created a very, very unique identity for himself. Your mother, I'm not sure how many of us know, your mother is a very eminent and a very, very elegant sculptor, and I've seen some of her work. So how did you take to dance?
I took to dance, Sunita, though, I've also learned sitar and performed. But dance was a passion that I'm aware of since I had my senses about me. And I saw Yamini Krishnamurti performing when I was about 4 years old, followed by Biju Maharaja's performance. And I came home and I told my parents I want to learn exactly what Yamini Krishnamurti ji was performing, which was Bharatnatyam. And at that age, all children want to sing and dance. So they didn't take me very seriously, especially because classical music and arts were revered in my household. They couldn't consider it as time pass or hobby. So they didn't take it seriously unless they saw it shape up as a very serious, intense emotion. So I found somebody. At that time, I couldn't write the name and I told her to write Thankamani Kutti, Guru Thankamani Kutti's name and her phone number. And I gave it to my father. And I said, you must go and talk to her and fix up things. So 1 year down the line, they found that I was very serious enough to have the data. So my father did go and speak to Thankamani Kutti ji. And I trained under Thankamani Kutti, Guru Govindan Kutti, and Guru Venkit. So that's how the journey began.
Great. I want to ask you something which has got a little bit of personal interest here. That how did
Of
your
course.
father let you do dance? Because my mother, was very clear. She said that you have to only play the violin. She was a little selfish in that because I wanted to learn dance too, and I wanted to learn Odissi dance. I was mesmerized by the dance form because we were in Orissa when we were growing up. But my mother was very clear. The violin, it has to be. She said, I will not be able to do it in my lifetime. You've got to learn it. So how did your father react to you taking to dance and not the sitar as a full-time profession?
Yes, I played sitar till I was 14, I think. And parallelly, I was doing dance. Then I gave up sitar at 14. I think he was hurt. But my father was very easy that way. He let you be. And the reason why I gave up sitar now, I think, my father had a lot of students even at that time who were more his children than I was, where the exchange of music was concerned. And being an only child, I thought, or I assumed that he would focus on me totally as a teacher. But it was not that way. He taught his students far more than he taught me, and I was taught in his spare time. At that point of time, I didn't relish that. But later, it went a very long way to understand what exactly the Guru Shishya Parampara was. And it taught me how to deal with my students, that complete selfless attachment towards the daughter, where he taught his students much more than he taught his own daughter, taught me very important lessons of life. And I hope I can translate that when I teach my students. And that was it. So I quit sitar and I focused on dance totally, because I must say, though he said that I was good at it, I've given a few concerts also when I was 11 and 12 and 13, but dance was my complete passion. And my father was somebody who encouraged free will, completely. My mother would have said that no, you should focus more on sitar maybe, but my father was like, do what you want, wherever your passion lies. So that was that setting free.
Wow, that's great. And I think another great, profound lesson for all of us as artists, because we always want our children to do what our craft is, what we want our children to do. And when my mother was very sure that she wanted me to do the violin, I decided that, well, I'm not going to force that on my son too. This is a profound lesson for us to learn, that our children and our legacy of craft may not be with just our children. And that's what I like when you say Sohini Moksha World Group and World Dance, because getting so many dancers along with you on stage, teaching them, getting them up to that level of stagecraft and performance is not an easy task, because it's quite, I think, easier to be a solo artist, but to take such a huge ensemble together with you. And there are so many like us. We've got so many other dancer friends we've seen who are doing that, and especially you do it with across countries. We have so many choreographers in India who have large groups of dancers, but they're primarily from India or from the same country. What really stands out in the way you put your ensemble together is that so many dancers from different countries. There is England, there is Berlin, there is France. Well, we've talked about that a lot. We talked about your talim and your discipline, and you also talk about being in form and doing riyaz. That's what you said earlier this morning, that I had to do my riyaz. So can we see a solo piece of you performing? We want to see the entire discipline of Bharatanatyam and how it comes forth and is expressed in your solo form of dance.
Yes, of course, Vinitji. The Shakti Rupena, since it's about Durga again, the mother goddess.
श्रीमाते शिवप्रियायै नमो नमः ॐ ऐं ह्रीं श्रीमाते शिवप्रियायै नमो नमः ॐ ह्रीं श्रीमाते शिवप्रियायै नमो अम्बशाम्भवि चन्द्रमौळिरमलाभरणा उमा पार्वते काली हैमवती शिवनयनी कात्यायनी भैरवी सावित्री नवयौवना शुभकरी सादाज लक्ष्मी प्रदा चिद्रूपी परदेवता भगवती श्री राजराजेश्वरी
रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो देहि
रूपं देहि जयं देहि यशो देहि द्विषो देहि
Well, we saw some comments coming in, and as much as we talk and talk about our craft, nothing like seeing it in in action. Thank you, Sohini, for sharing that. Tell us more about that space where you shot that video. What's the significance? I can see that it's a very, very personal space, but I wanted
Yes.
to hear it from you.
Yes, that is my space for meditation and dance. And I have my Shiva there, and I have my father's picture there because He went away at 72, 4 years ago, out of the blue. And for me, he was my inner voice, besides being my parent, he was my best friend and my greatest guru, because I've learned from him. He would tell me always that you have learned dancing, that's all you've done, so you better be 99% or 98% perfect. That's what is expected, that's a given. But it is your I would know something substantial is happening when you transfer that knowledge, how well you transfer that knowledge, with how much seriousness, how much effectiveness. So my father's picture is there because, as I said, he's my greatest of gurus. I've learned the lessons of empathy and kindness from him. We all have. So I find his blessings and his love there by having his picture there, dominating that space completely. And he also, when he taught his students, his relationship was very detached, in the sense he would empower them totally and then set them free. So that sense of detachment is absolutely sacred in our world of art, that you're not holding on to your students, or you don't have that they have to pander to your whims or do it a particular way. He would train them completely, and like his own children or even more, and then set them free, assist, facilitate whatever was necessary, but they were emotionally free. They could do what they like, play how they like, do fusions, perform on the best of stages. So my father being my greatest guru, that is my space for meditation, dance, and freedom, where I feel his presence, his blessings with me.
How beautiful. The guru, he was a sitar legend, and you are doing dance, but it's music. They say Geetam Vaidam Tatha Nrittam, Trayam Sangitam
Totally,
Uchyate. That
totally.
there was the rhythm, there was the connection, and there's of course the your father. So I know about that picture, so I wanted to know from you. When you talked about teaching selflessly, you talked about being empathetic and kind towards the people with whom you're sharing your music. I know that you do that even in Kolkata now. So for those ladies and gentlemen who have joined in late, Sohini, Moksha, we are here launching the book Dancing with the Gods. We had a wonderful formal launch by Amish Tripathi ji, the director of the Nehru Center. More so, the excitement is that he is the famous author and Amish Tripathi ji, who launched the book for us today. And we are here having a discussion. This is the book again that I'm showing you, Dancing with the Gods, with some amazing, it's a coffee table book with some amazing picturizations of dance and Sohini Moksha all across the world. So you talked about empathy and kindness in teaching. Tell us about what you do in Kolkata now that you were here during the pandemic, about with the girls from the marginalized community that you've been teaching. Tell us about them. Where are they up to now?
Yes. In India, Sunita, I only teach marginalized children and marginalized adults, because I feel the regular kids have quite a bouquet of teachers there. Though in Europe and in America, outside India, I teach only adults who come on their own money and own time, and not children who are being pushed by parents into Indian culture, because I feel the passion should come from within. And my students, who I have trained and who worked with child psychology also, they are the ones who train the children in our European centers. But in India, I teach Little Big Help, the girls there, the girl children there, which is our shelter home for destitute children and for abandoned children and rescued children. And it is our mutual commitment to each other that in the next 6-7 years, a crop of artists should be from within them, because they have a vast resource of talent within and hard work. And they've already performed for some of the major Times of India festivals, at my book launch at Oxford. And they are very, very good, very, very committed. And I'm also a trustee there with Little Big Help. In Mumbai, I work with the Baikula jail women inmates and their children in my program to empower them with dance and storytelling. In Rajasthan, in Jaipur, I work with deaf and mute orphans who have been abandoned. And I have also worked with Apne Aap, the red light area children intensively, and we've done a production with them with Bharatanatyam and flamenco, where it's very important for me whether with my students, whether they are Bulgarian or Russian or French or from the marginalized sections of India, to get them to perform on stage, because I feel that is an essential part of the Sohini Moksha education. Because if you're learning intensively for 20 years, even then when you go on stage, there's a learning process happening all over again. And I feel that education is complete because with the marginalized sections, not all of them may be professional Bharatanatyam dancers someday, but when you're learning to dance, when you're being more aware of your body, your heart, your mind, and when you're going on stage and performing, it gives you a different kind of self confidence and self awareness that helps you speak up in class, helps you become more ambitious and inspired in your education, and gives you self esteem. And that is the defining factor and very, very important for marginalized children. So that is our love story again, which continues forever.
That's wonderful. And I think that we first met when you walked out of the Baikala jail, and we had a meeting in Bombay. And that's when I
Yes,
got to know
yes.
about how dance, you were also working on the space of making dance a voice.
Mhm.
However, we have spent almost more than half an hour now discussing, and with, of course, seeing you dance in two of your productions. Tell us about, the yoga that you do. And, I've read your profile that you're also practicing yogini. And there is something around dance and healing that you do. And again, I had the opportunity to see you do that with a common group that you recently did for a corporate audience on mudras, and mudras and well-being. So
Yes,
before we go on to the finale section of this program, could you quickly show us 2 to 3 mudras, because well-being is a very important part of our lives today,
absolutely.
much needed part across the world. And could you just show us how what's the science behind some of the mudras that you teach in your yoga come dance healing workshops?
Absolutely. You see, the mudras is an age-old part of our Vedic customs, and we know that our nerve endings are at our fingertips. So this is wellness at your fingertips. Certain mudras, for example, this is the shank, this is Vishnu's shank that we are holding in Bharatanatyam. What are we doing? We are holding on to our left thumb, turning it around and pressing the right thumb to the left ring finger. So this itself, the certain pressure points are pressed, and the channels of energy in our body open up and push more oxygen into our body. But also this really helps asthma attacks, bronchial issues, and strengthens our lungs. And it was very relevant, post COVID time, especially one suffering from COVID trauma, to strengthen and fortify our lungs, because oxygen is the most natural and most freely available chemical that acts as a body spa. It detoxes the body. So this is Vishnu's shank, which can really, if you can hold it about 10 times a day, each time for 30 seconds in 7 days, you'll feel you're breathing better. This is the chakra. The Sudarshan chakra is how we show it. Thumbs stretched and hands pressing upon each other. This really helps sinusitis problems. This helps you breathe better. This helps you fight coughs and flus better. And this can help you have better health if you do it in a sustained way. And you don't have to be in a specific space. You could be sitting on a chair waiting for your flight, and keep on doing this to just fortify your organs, to make yourself more resistant to COVID and other diseases.
So is there a
Similarly,
breathing?
this,
Is there a
yes.
breathing kind of breathing with this? We will have to
Uh,
breathe in and breathe out, or do we
See,
just
if you
do it?
can, great, but if you just deep breaths are good enough. Deep breaths are good
Okay.
enough for normal, aware breathing. Similarly, this helps thyroid. This helps thyroid. This helps your spine health, and this helps your kidneys.
Wow. Okay.
This will help your digestion, because the fire and the earth, are pressing against each other. And this helps the digestion procedure, the metabolic procedure, and this helps the liver.
Wow. I hope our
So
audience
these
has got a chance to do a couple of these mudras. Sorry, you were saying something, Sohini.
No, that's it. That's it. So there is a whole array of mudras, each with special benefits. And it's very easy to do, And it also, in some of my yoga classes that I mentioned, which was done for the Ministry of Health, it was mentioned that it is a good way of bringing in people together. It's the only place where children can even integrate their grandparents who may have a problem sitting on the floor or doing Padmasan, but they could be seated on a harder surface on a chair and just doing the mudras with their grandchildren. It's a good way that integrates both children, older people together, and brings about more community life, more family associations, so towards collective effort towards health.
How wonderful is that? So dance as a medium of expression of creativity. We saw that earlier in the session today. We talked about connecting civilizations and culture and art and ethos with dance. So he just showed healing through dance, through the mudras. Of course, she's being a yogini herself. She could do that. It's not easy for artists like us to quickly, kind of interpret all of that. And I think what you said is again a clarion call to all of us artists in the fraternity that if it can also get inclusion, can create the ethos of inclusion, the values of inclusion, getting people together with differences together and enjoy the art, I think the world will be a better place. So
Absolutely.
we have taken our main timings of 45 minutes. I know we have a time of 1 hour, but we need to close early. It is Durga Puja that's going on, and Navratri is going on. And I think Sohini, having an artist here with us in the Nehru Center platform, I think we would like to request you to show us a little bit of live dancing too, before movements too, or postures too, before we end this wonderful book launch. For those of you who may have joined in now, because I know how Facebook Live sometimes works. So we were here today earlier to launch Dancing with the Gods by none other than Amish Tripathi ji, the director of the Nehru Center, and most popularly known as the very famous, popular, and outstanding author Amish ji. And so we launched this book. We talked about the cultures represented in this book, the dance form Bharatnatyam, and we have with us the protagonist Sohini here with us. So Sohini, how about showing us something around Durga Shakti, something around invocating the Shakti within to all of us here today?
So something about Om Namah Shivaya, praying within, meditating and dancing. And all my dancers are from all around the world, all sections of society. And in fact, there is Farah Daud from Iraq who dances beautifully to Om Namah Shivaya, and she has been to India with my concerts and danced in various places. There's Celia Wonkelswelk from France. There is Maria from Spain. And Kika, as I said, she's in Algeria now. She's in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In maybe a few years, she's going to be the ambassador of Spain in some country. And there's Olga, who is a very good theater artist. So all of them come together in this invocation piece to Shiva.
Great. I was actually Sohini wanting to see you dance live from where you were streaming this in London.
Oh, okay. If you
So
could play a little violin,
yes.
Sunita, please, that would be fantastic. We could do something about Durga together.
I mean, that's quite a spot. I'm here to host and anchor and kind
No,
of.
that would be wonderful because we know how good you are.
Why don't we do a small Durga Stuti together then? How
Absolutely.
about that? Yeah, and
Perfect.
then we will end the program with the Shiva program, your world
Perfect.
dance piece. For
Yes.
that, I will put on the tanpura a little bit. This is the Durga Stuti. I saw the Shakti Rupin and I remembered the Durga Stuti that my mother had composed few years back when the Nirbhaya incident happened. And she said that we're talking about women being empowered, where whilst Durga was empowered thousands of years back. And most of her empowerment and energy came from her male collaborators, starting with her husband, then her father, and the other gods. This is based in Rag Durga. So when I was seeing your Shakti Rupan, I thought
Mhm.
it'll be nice to do that. Can you hear the Tanpura?
Yes.
Sare ma pada mare mare sadha sa. जय जय देवी जगत जननी पाप विनाशिनी दुख हरणी आज ये धारा महापाप से भरा तुम दया करो हे महामाया. The Bengali version. Joyo joyo devi jagat janani papo binashini dukha harani. আজ এই ধরা মহাপাপে ভরা তুমি দয়া করো হে মহামায়া. অতি মহাদেবে ত্রিশূল দান করে নানা অস্ত্র দান করে দেবগণ কবচ দান করে বিশ্বকর্মা দেবে বস্ত্র অলঙ্কারে সাজালে কুবেরে. হে মহামায়া শত প্রণাম শত প্রণাম শত প্রণাম. সারে মা পাধা মরে মরে সধা সারে মা রে মা পাধা পাধা সাধা প মরে রে মা পাধা পাধা প মরে মরে সদা সা. জয় জয় দেবী জগত জননী পাপ বিনাশিনী দুঃখ হরণী. আজ এই ধরা মহাপাপে ভরা তুমি দয়া করো হে মহামায়া.
Thank you, Sunita. That was so beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I enjoyed doing this, though I mean, you know, I thought I would sing this stuti for sure because the Shakti Rupan inspired it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of Dancing with the Gods, the launch of Dancing with the Gods. And Sohini, thank you so much for taking us through all your three different philosophies of use of Bharatanatyam as a form of expression, dance as a form of, as a medium for collecting civilizations, and of course, dance as a medium of healing and working together. I would like to thank the Nehru Center for hosting this wonderful event. I'd like to thank Vineet ji, who has helped us with the platform, Archana ji, who has helped us curate this whole program, Guhara ji, who helped us, conceive the idea, and of course, last but not the least, once again, Amish ji for
Absolutely.
for launching the book. So, any final words from you as we come to a close of this session?
I would like to thank all of you, Sunita, for beautifully being the master of ceremonies. Vineet ji for handling the tech so well, because I'm completely tech challenged, like a lot of artists I know. Amish ji, thank you so much. It's such an honor to have you launch the book. Shutapa Sengupta was the art director, is the art director of the book. And as you know, the visuals of a book, coffee table book, are very, very important. So I want to thank Sutapa. She's in Calcutta now. She couldn't be here. And Nehru Center, thank you very much for this honor and for helping to connect civilizations, to connect arts and our hearts with all of us today.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you, our wonderful audience who watched us on Facebook and YouTube Live. And once again, thank you to the Nehru Center London for hosting the launch of the book Dancing with the Gods with by Sohini Moksha, Sohini Roychowdhury Dasgupta.
Thank you very much indeed.
नमस्ते स्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय नमः शिवाय